Before the video gets underway, I just wanted to say I'm really trying to hit 1,000 subs here on YouTube, so if you're new here, it would mean a lot to me if you dropped a sub and leave a comment down below just saying hello, or if you had a question or whatever. I'm normally fairly responsive down there, and if it's interesting enough, I'll do a video on it. The other day, someone shot me a message about Alex Pietrangelo, and I found it interesting enough to do a 9-minute video on it. Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, it is the series where I don't provide the content, and hopefully you don't provide the content, reviewing Armchair GMs on Capfriendly. Let's not waste any time, let's just jump right into it. But right before we do, just a little bit of a disclaimer. Most of these that we're going to review in this video are going to be for next season, and a lot of people are really unsure of what the cap's going to be because the salary cap is directly tied to league revenue, and we did a video covering the possible $84 to $88 million projection that the NHL released like 2 weeks ago or whatever, but you can pretty much throw that out the window with them putting their season on pause because no one's really making any money right now. So we're going to start off the video here with a familiar face. If you've watched one of these videos on my channel before, or if you frequent the Capfriendly Armchair GM forum, you'll recognize his name, Boomer125. And Boomer's been pretty reasonable in the past, so we'll see what he has to offer for us today. And I'm going to go to a close-up view so we can reveal the moves one by one. And the first move that he has here is Ilya Mikheyev for $1.5 million in one season. That is the exact contract that I threw at Ilya Mikheyev in my Armchair GM video when we were projecting the Leafs roster for next season under the assumption that the cap would be $84 million. And while some of those moves might not be possible, the explanations for them are still valid in the reasoning. So $1.5 million, a pretty good deal. TJ Brodie, 5 years, $5 million. Now, TJ Brodie was almost a Toronto Maple Leaf in the alleged Nazem Kadri trade before Nazem Kadri nixed the deal. So TJ Brodie would be an interesting one, but I hear a lot of Calgary Flames fans aren't that big of a fan of his. Joe Thornton, if you read one of Elliot Friedman's more recent edition of 31 Thoughts, and I showed it in the Alex Pietrangelo video that I did, the little excerpt showing that if San Jose wasn't an option for him, that Toronto could be. And if that was true, I'd be at Real Sports the morning after buying his jersey. I absolutely love Joe Thornton. And then he's got a couple of depth signings there. Derek Brassard would make sense because he's obviously trading Alexander Kerfoot. And maybe Derek Brassard looks a little bit cheap there, but I could possibly see this NHL offseason with the cap maybe going down. General managers a little bit scared to spend money, being kind of similar to what the MLB offseasons have been in recent years, where player contracts are just going down for some reason. And Derek Brassard at 2 years, $2.5 million would be a pretty good deal. The Alex Kerfoot trade kind of makes sense. Kerfoot at $3.5 million if you could get a cheaper third-line center, and he's around equal skill. I mean, Brassard, Kerfoot, they're very similar type of players. Okay, I'd be comfortable with that. You recoup a second-round pick as well. Now, the next trade, Andreas Johnsson for Jujhar Khaira and a third-round pick. The Maple Leafs actually had interest in Jujhar Khaira in last year's trade deadline, where he almost became a Maple Leaf for Connor Brown, I believe. I believe the trade was Jujhar Khaira and Matt Benning for Connor Brown. So to see him traded for Andreas Johnsson would make sense. He's kind of a redundant forward on the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. While a lot of people really like him, we could see Nick Robertson really take a step next year. Watch my video on Nick Robertson. Seriously, the kid is absolutely sick. I'll just zoom out here for the last one here, but it's Travis Dermott to the Montreal Canadiens for a third-round pick. Now, I would rather die than trade lifelong Maple Leaf fan Travis Dermott to the Montreal Canadiens. Maybe a different team. There probably would be a couple interested in Travis Dermott. I mean, he is a young up-and-coming defenseman, but the idea for trading him is that you'd be adding TJ Brodie, right? And you already have Riley, Muzzin, Hull, Liljegren, Sandin, Dermott in the mix for next season. That's already 6 guys. If you're going to get an upgrade, you need to move one of those guys out. And because Dermott's an expiring RFA, he's probably going to be wanting $2 to $2.5 million. So you move him out for the cap savings. I don't necessarily agree with everything that Boomer did here, but the one interesting thing from here, he has Joe Thornton as the extra. It was mentioned in the Elliot Friedman 31 Thoughts column that it would be an interesting idea to throw Joe Thornton on the wing with Austin Matthews, one of the elite generational goal-scoring talents with one of the best playmakers of the last 30 years. He's older, but Joe Thornton still got it. Next one I'm going to click on here is from Hockey Tour 15. Liljegren is trash. And I'm going to go right to the close-up view here. And if you didn't see the video that I did about Timothy Liljegren, I would check that out. I look at some historical AHL numbers in there. Timothy Liljegren is not trash. He's not the best defensive defenseman, but he is a reliable puck-moving defenseman, and he's still really, really young, right? You got to give the guy a little bit of an opportunity. He may not be as good as Rasmus Sandin, but I'm definitely not giving up on him. But let's look at what he has here. Jeremy Bracco signed an extension recently, like a couple of days ago, before everything just shut down, returned from personal leave, so hopefully he's okay and ready to come back when the league does come back up and running. Frederic Gauthier, Dennis Malgin, Ilya Mikheyev, 2-year deal, $1.5 million. Interesting. You might have to bump that up to like 1.8 or 1.9 to get 2 years from there, but interesting deal. 2 years, $2.5 million for Travis Dermott, kind of similar to what I offered him in my Armchair GM video, and then Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton. Now, the interesting thing with that Joe Thornton thing was included, again, in the Elliot Friedman 31 Thoughts excerpt that I included in a couple of videos that I did now. Joe Thornton said that money is not an object for him. Like, he doesn't care. Money's not an issue. He would sign for a lot less than $1 million if he were to come to a contender. So let's scrolling down here. The first trade is Alexander Kerfoot and a fourth for David Savard, $750K retained. David Savard, kind of a bigger defenseman. Maybe CBJ is kind of looking to move him out. I don't know what his contract looks like. But interesting trade. I definitely would like a David Savard type defenseman on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the next trade here is Travis Dermott, Timothy Liljegren, Andreas Johnsson, and Jeremy Bracco for Josh Manson. Quantity over quality here, definitely for the Anaheim Ducks in a trade. But I'm okay with trading Timothy Liljegren if it gets us back a defenseman like Josh Manson. Because he's kind of a bubble prospect right now. He does have a lot of potential, but Josh Manson is here right now. He would be here right now and be helping the Maple Leafs win in their window of contention. The other prospects, Andreas Johnsson, like I mentioned, kind of a redundant forward on the Leafs. Jeremy Bracco, the Maple Leafs haven't really given him an opportunity, so I don't really know how to judge him. Travis Dermott, we already talked about. Interesting trades. I don't think any of them are too outlandish. Definitely quantity over quality for the Ducks there, though. And then this person working with an $85.5 million salary cap, but there's $2 million in space there. So about an $83.5 million salary cap, this team would work. And I could see it, I guess. All right, time for two more here, and we're going to look at this one from B-Cap, and he's going to call his flat cap. And right away, we're going to go to the close-up view here. I'm gonna have to reveal the first one so I can show the salaries. But Frederic Gauthier, Travis Dermott, okay, yeah, it's still within that range, $2.25 to $2.75 million for a bridge deal. Fine. Dennis Malgin, Ilya Mikheyev, a little bit of a higher price tag than what I had him at, but still fine. Jeremy Bracco, Andreas Johnsson for just draft picks straight up. I'm cool with that, I guess. You're saving the cap dollars there. Detroit gets a decent player on a decent contract. He's working under, the same salary cap, and let's just kind of go back to the main window here. And the team is... I'm not happy with that defensive core. I know a lot of you wouldn't be happy with that defensive core. I'm not happy with Frederic Gauthier as the fourth line center or Dennis Malgin. Dennis Malgin is kind of just the king of nothing happening when he's on the ice. Jeremy Bracco on the foot. This is objectively a worse Leafs team than this season, but I understand the logic if the cap does stay flat. There's not a lot of stuff that the Maple Leafs could do, but I would hope that Kyle Dubas would be a little bit more creative than this. So possibly the last one that we're going to click on here, and it's called Fixing This Team, and it's from 2 years from now, the 2021-2022 season, and it's brought to us by Jason28. It's not Jason28, it's Jason. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, and we're going to go right up into the close-up view, and okay, I'm going to include this one in the video because... Alright, I'm going to include this one in the video like I was saying because it has the Maple Leafs re-signing Frederik Andersen and Zach Hyman. And the Zach Hyman contract to me is really, really interesting, and so is the Frederik Andersen one. If you guys want me to do one video covering both of those players or individual videos covering those players and if I would re-sign them or not, let me know in the comments section because it's going to be a hot topic debate in this offseason and next year as well. And by the way, that Dante Fabro trade with the Nashville Predators does not go through. No way they give him up for that. That's going to wrap up this edition of reviewing Armchair GMs on Capfriendly, the series where I don't provide the content, and hopefully you don't provide the content unless you're Boomer125. Boomer125, I like his attitude. I like the way that he thinks. Make sure to leave me a like on this video if you did like it, and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, look for a video uploaded right after this one talking about what my plans are for hockey content on this channel, if you care. I mean, you don't have to watch that video if you don't want to. But just talking about some series and some possible ideas and whatnot, because like I said, if you guys have a question that you want answered, drop me a comment and I will happily do a video. I'll happily sit down and do the research on it. Remember to stay safe out there, guys, and continue to wash your hands thoroughly. Remember, 20 seconds at a time, and you should be doing that anyway. And remember that the Toronto Maple Leafs are... I don't really know how to end videos anymore.